Hello, it's Rebecca from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I am playing along with Sketch Saturday with Yana. So I'm designing a layout based on the sketch you've just seen. I'm using the Simple Stories Jingle All the Way collection as I'm scrapping another one of my Christmas photos. Apologies if you can hear a cat purring. My cat has just decided to come and sit right next to me and she's purring her head off. It's just typical. So Sketch Saturday with Yana. If you're not familiar with it, every Saturday on her YouTube channel, Yana has a new sketch and she designs a layout based on it. You can play along and post your layouts on YouTube or Instagram or wherever you like, and you can use the hashtag Sketch Saturday with Yana so that Yana sees it. It's a really good series. Yana recently took a break but is back, so I think, if I'm right, this is sketch maybe number 12. Should have checked before I started, but it's a 12 or 13 or something like that. So there's been a few of them now, and they're always really, really good sketches. So I really recommend joining in and having a play and following Yana on YouTube and Facebook because she's very inspirational. So as you saw at the beginning of the video, I've got a 12 by 12 sheet of patterned paper that I've had in my collection since I started scrapbooking probably. It's not one I'm ever likely to use. So I have cut it into starburst sections. I think on the sketch there were 7 sections, but I've gone with 10 purely because I didn't have the sketch to hand when I started my layout, and I was too lazy to look it up, but I knew it was a starburst sketch with a square photo in the middle, so I've gone with 10 sections. And I've just used a ruler and drawn the sections on that piece of patterned paper, cut it out, and then I'm using each of the templates and drawing around them on one of the Simple Stories patterned papers and cutting them out. Now, when I'm cutting them out, I am trimming a little bit off of each edge. So not the edge that goes around the outer side of my final layout, but the inner sections where, I'm not really explaining this very well, am I? Where the triangles touch each other, I'm trimming a bit there because I want there to be a gap between each one on my layout so you can see the white cardstock through the gap. This is quite a busy layout for me. I don't normally use this much patterned paper, but I did want some white to show through, even though it is the tiniest amount. It just made me feel a bit more in my comfort zone. So you can see there'll be a slight gap between each one. I'm going to use my sewing machine now and do some stitching around the edges of all of those starburst sections. I'm using a gold We Are Memory Keepers metallic thread, and I absolutely love it. It is my favourite gold thread, and I get it from Paper Maze over in the UK. It doesn't like my sewing machine much, and it really struggles to go through it. It kind of pulls at the stitching and pulls at the cardstock. So I normally hand stitch with it, but there was quite a bit to do on this layout and it was really late at night, so I really didn't want to have to sit there hand stitching it all. So off camera I've just persevered with the sewing machine, and it's not perfect stitching by anybody's definition, but it's good enough and I'm happy with it, so it has the effect I was looking for. And I've gone with gold because there's some gold baubles hanging on the Christmas tree in my photo. So I'm just going around the edges of all of the starburst sections with the edge of my scissor blade just to distress them, and that will just give a little bit more texture and interest to the layout. And it will also mean there's a little bit more of that white space showing in between the sections. But like when I trimmed them down, I'm only distressing the 2 inner cuts. I'm not doing the outer edge around the edge of the layout, just the inner bits. So the photo I'm using today is one that really makes me laugh. It's of my little boy on Christmas morning. He's literally this week or last week just turned 4, so This has been the first Christmas where he's really into it, and my photo is of him disappearing under the Christmas tree, hunting for the last few presents. We've got a really cute video where we're saying, "Riley, what are you doing?" And there's this little voice appears from under the tree saying, "I'm looking for my presents, Mummy." And it's just so funny and so cute that I had to document this memory. As you can see, I've left all of my loose threads in the middle. I'm not bothering to tape those to the back or trim them off or anything, because those are going to be hidden underneath my photo, so they can just stay in the middle for now. And I'm going to go around, and I'm just using PVA glue in a fine liner bottle. I'm sticking down the corner sections first because they are the most important when it comes to lining up. So I'm going to do the corners first and then just work my way around the rest of the pieces, filling in the gaps. And you'll probably notice at the beginning, once I cut them out, I numbered them because they're triangles, and some of them can work in more than one spot but not work correctly, if that makes sense. It's very easy to get them muddled up, so I always number starburst sections when I'm making them, and it makes the process so much easier. So almost done there with my gluing. These fine liner bottles I bought recently, and every single glue I tried in them was way too thick. So if it's something you're interested in getting, I've now got PVA glue in this one, just normal cheap kids PVA glue, but I've had to water it down slightly to make it a bit thinner, and it now works a treat. So if you are going to get these bottles, you may find you need to water the glue down a little bit. So that's all my sections in place, and all I did in the middle behind my photo is just grab all of the stitching together and just put a bit of sellotape over it, and then just trim the edges off, and that should hold those in place well enough. So these are the puffy title foam stickers from the Jingle All The Way collection, and I'm going with that, I think it said Happy Holidays sticker for my title. It's not a colour I've used in any of the patterned papers, but it does match the light green of the wall in my photo quite well, which is why I've bought that in, because that colour was really sticking out on the photo, very obvious. I haven't got any more of it on the layout. So that title is going to bring a bit more of that in for me. Those behind my photos there, those are a couple of tags from the collection, from the tags patterned paper, and I absolutely love these Simple Stories tags papers, because one side is like this, it's just the top of the tags that's decorated, and the other side is like a complete decorated tag, so you can use either side of them. So they are so versatile and I love them. Then just going through the bits and pieces journaling pack to see what I've got there that I can add. I'm going to add a round sort of journaling card there with a bauble on it, and I will just add literally a couple of lines of journaling on that. I've got a stocking here I'm adding. I don't particularly like this stocking. I don't like the shape of it, but it says "You rock my socks," and because all you can see in this photo is my little boy's bum and his socks, I really liked it and thought it would work well on the layout. So although I don't like the shape of the stocking, I love the words on it, so I'm going to make it work. Because I've distressed all of the starburst sections, I'm also distressing everything else on the layout. So both the tags I've distressed the edges of, and also that journaling piece, and I'll do the same with the stocking as well, just so it all kind of ties in and nothing's got a crisp edge. Just raising the top of my tags up with foam pads just for a bit more dimension. Normally I would have used foam pads behind a lot of other things like the starburst sections on my layouts, but I thought it might be a bit too much having everything raised up. And then I thought about raising every other section, but I just decided it was just easier to go with them flat and then raise my photo up instead, to have my photo stand out a bit more, because that background is very busy for me. So having the photo raised up just helps to make it stand out a bit. This is a really quick layout for me. It came together really quickly. Obviously it's helped massively because I'm following a sketch, and my background is so busy that I am quite limited with what I can put on my background in the way of embellishments. So I've just used a couple of bits, and that's it. It was a really quick layout. So my title there, I've added some foam adhesive tape behind it because I wanted it to overlap my photo slightly, but because my photo is raised up on foam, I needed the other half of that title raised up as well. So I've just added some tape behind that. Adding a couple of gold thread tangles in, one just on the right above my title there, and another one on the left in between the tag and the stocking, just to kind of bridge that gap that I've got there. It was quite an obvious gap, and I didn't really want to place any more ephemera or anything, so I've just popped a thread tangle there. And these are just embroidery threads, just 6-strand threads, and I've picked out a green and a red, and I'm just going to thread those through my tags and leave a little bit hanging off just for another texture on the page. And I think I'm pretty much almost done now, just last few bits popping up there on foam pads. I do go through the sticker sheet and add a Santa sticker. The photo is Christmas morning and under the tree, and Santa bought his presents, so it felt quite fitting to have a Santa. And I think I add a puffy sticker as well. And that's pretty much it in the way of embellishing. Like I said, my background is so busy anyway with all those patterned papers. I didn't want to overload it. So just finishing off the layout with some gold, oh sorry, the cat's back with her purring, some gold Heidi Swap colour shine just to bring in a bit more gold. And that's my layout done. So thank you very much for joining me. Please do check out Jana's Instagram and YouTube. I'll pop the links to those in the description box below. And she posts a new sketch Saturday, funnily enough, every Saturday. So please do have a look. They're great sketches and I always really enjoy them. And hashtag Sketch Saturday with Jana if you do join in. So thanks very much, and I'll leave you with close-ups.